It's live.
Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, Akim.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to
Yahweh,
Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Dash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations to Al Akim. Out there in the four corners, teaching truth and sincerity. This is Stasha Raquel Moth, here with the brother
Rock, shalom.
of the GMS Scholars Camp, coming at you with a quick lesson. The Lord's willing is edifying unto the hopeful elect. We're going to touch in on a point, seeing that this is the 250th year that Babylon the Great has been erected as being a ruler, being in rulership upon this wicked queendom, upon the earth. All right. So with that, let's touch on some history of what happened to the original Babylon, and how it went through its history, and fell. But Apushai,
yeah, this is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 8, and it says, or verse 7, it says, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer." And as the title says, the coming economic downturn of Babylon the Great, right? That's what you should be preparing your spirit for, right? Because being that we're in the flesh, you know what I'm saying? The end of this place, our flesh is going to be affected. But this is a spiritual battle, right? And spiritually, we're preparing ourselves for the battle. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to get that precept open up.
Because being in this world, you're going to desire the things of the world. All right, but it says in the scriptures that that's something that we shouldn't be leaning upon. Okay, because the love of this world is enmity with Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, loosely paraphrasing. Okay, and with that, knowing in part, we prophesy in part, to separate ourselves from the hell that we're in. But Bob, you got it.
I have the Ezekiel 7. You mind if I get one more real quick? This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 12. It says, "Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh to live after the flesh," right? Because really, what's coming to America is going to be an impact on your flesh.
Yep.
It's going to be basically, like the elders always say, the controlled demolition. What we're watching is the controlled demolition of this way of life.
Babylon the Great.
So how you eat, right? How you take care of yourself. How you travel.
How you drink.
Right.
Where your water is going to come from.
Right.
Because those are big things that are in the works right now. They're trying to corral you into a place, of perplexity. But
we're gonna have to be spiritual. That's the point. I'll finish it out. Romans 8:13 and 14. It says, "For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die."
Yep.
A lot of people are gonna die from making flesh-based decisions or carnal decisions.
Knee-jerk reactions.
Right? Being impulsive.
Yep.
It says, "For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live." And that's why brothers fast, right? That's why brothers, are put in these various, tests, right? Whether it's through the Spirit or, more intentionally. But it's all to strengthen your spirit for the coming times, man.
Because we're supposed to be putting on Yahweh Shai.
Right.
All right. Because in what he did, he conquered, the flesh.
Right.
Okay. And we want to be like our big brother. We want to be like him in order for us to get through this hell, because we're going through the same equivalent of it. But Bible Shah, you got it.
Go on, I'm gonna get into this Ezekiel 7. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 10. All right, and when you go into the book of Ezekiel, right, we understand that Ezekiel all right, prophesied during the exile, the Babylonian exile,
Yeah.
To the various, Israelites that were among that, dispersion, so to speak.
Because I believe it was like 5 years before Babylon fell, Ezekiel was prophesying, or probably even before then. But you got it, Salaki.
Yep, this is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 10. It says, "The day of judgment is here. Your destruction awaits. The people's wickedness and pride have blossomed to full flower."
See, the day of destruction is here. Because all this time of Jacob's trouble, whenever it started years back, it's now about to come to a head. It's welling up, to where it's about to rupture. You got it.
It says, Ezekiel 7 and 10, "The day of judgment is here. Your destruction awaits. The people's wickedness and pride have blossomed to full flower."
That's what I wanted to get into, because this whole world is so on a downturn. Is going into their wickedness, like these women. These 2/3 Jakes. Trying to impede. Yahweh Shemi Shai, but that can never happen. All right, but they're trying.
People are proud, man.
Yeah, the pride of these people are have reached an all-time high.
Yeah.
Especially Esau Edom.
Yep.
Because he thinks that he's going to live forever. Even though the Most High is literally breaking him down piece by piece.
Mm-hmm.
But you got it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point. Esau's pride is connected to the pride of our people, because our people look at Esau like he a god.
Yep.
With all this technology, with the AI, with the gene splicing, all this other shit, the heart controlling the damn, trying to control the weather and all this crazy shit. Right? Our people look at Esau, like he's God, man.
Well, he's
and like Slarky.
Nah.
I was gonna say, like in Sirach 10, it says, as the mind of the ruler, so are the people. Roughly paraphrasing. But you got a point?
I was gonna say, because it's like on the plantation.
Mm-hmm.
Massa is right on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like with Massa being right on everything, they're not looking at a higher power being over him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you got it.
I got a quick one. This is Isaiah 2 and 12.
Boom, that's a good one.
It says, the subheader, it says, "A day of reckoning is coming." It says, "For the day of the Lord of hosts," right, which means armies. The word host means armies, okay? Because the Lord is a man of war.
Yep, man of war.
All right, and if you're paying attention to what's going on, war is being prepared on a high level, all right, globally, all right? War against really people, life itself,
yep,
humanity.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And specifically, at the head of that,
you so-called
Jake.
Black, Latinos, Native Americans of Negroid descent.
Right, and then the elect at the forefront of that, because the elect and remnant, we're going to be at the forefront, right, of what Esau's trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
But we've been promised deliverance.
Yeah, deliverance from that.
And protection through the Spirit, man, to endure.
Like that 2nd Ezra 16, 16 and 69.
Yep.
We ain't got to get it, but, just to correlate, how Esau is setting up this whole thing. Everybody's going to be in perplexity. Everybody's going to get it, but then it's going to go on to you tribes. All this is going to be pushed on us, and then it's going to go to the ones that have been sighing and crying for all the abominations done in the midst thereof. Okay? So all of this is coming to an end. All right, but you got it. All right.
This is Ezekiel 7 and 11. It says, "Their violence has grown into a rod that will beat them for their wickedness, None of these proud and wicked people will survive. All their wealth and prestige will be swept away.
And that's you Jakes, you 2/3 Jakes on this side. That's these other nations, and it's you Edomites. You're about to go through the worst possible scenario in human history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and all this is because Yahweh Shemi Shai is about to release His anger upon you. Okay, because the Most High's anger is because the people, His people, has transgressed the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, they have gone astray and worshipped other gods.
Mm-hmm.
So Yahweh Shemi Shai has to punish you. All right, has to put you in line, has to give you a mercy kill. if I'm saying it right.
Yep, I forgot to finish this in Isaiah 2.
Oh, so
it's Isaiah 2:12, right? But it goes into this next verse too. It says, "For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low." And look what today is. Today's July the 4th.
Yep.
So today is basically the pinnacle of American pride.
Yep.
In a 24-hour period.
Yep.
All right. So again, all that American pride, right? All that
bravado,
right? All that bravado is getting ready to be brought extremely low, man. Extremely low.
And that's because Yahweh Shemi Shai sanctioned it.
Yep.
All right. He didn't need any, go ahead from anybody else. Because He is the power that ruleth in the kingdom of men.
Mm-hmm.
But
and you niggas is proud too, man. You niggas got the nerve to be proud, man.
On a day that you was in captivity, getting your back beat, you getting your back beat, bro. Right. But you got it. So like,
no, you're right, bro. This shit don't got nothing to do with you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. It says Ezekiel 7:12. It says, "Yes, the time has come. The day is here. Buyers should not rejoice over bargains, nor sellers grieve over losses, for all of them will fall under my terrible anger."
Because everybody is going to be brought down and put on an even level, and that level is going to be a ground zero. All right, because Yahweh Shemi Shai is about to restart this whole thing. Like it says in that Sirach chapter 10, I perceive. Mm-hmm. Yahweh Shemi Shai is about to bring everybody to hell. All right, but you got it.
Con, there's a precept that goes into what you're talking about in Isaiah 24. This is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1 and 2. It says, "Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof."
Yeah, because Yahweh Shemi Shai, he's making it waste, just like the thermonuclear missiles. Mm-hmm. He's going to make it waste to that's the restart button.
Right.
He's going to press the restart button, to get everybody, to off their high horses. Yeah. Thinking that they got shit, and he's going to bring you down and realize that if you don't have him, you have nothing.
And Esau knows this, which is why Esau is trying to do a reset on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
He knows that it's inevitable. Like, there are certain things that just happen historically. Like, case in point, the most kingdoms, prominent nations only ruled for about 200 to 300 years outside of, like the Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the Assyrians, right, you look at the Medo-Persians, you look at some of those kingdoms that the scriptures mentioned, their kingdoms didn't last more than 200-300 years.
Yeah.
So Babylon the Great is that little horn, and it's no different.
And that goes into the Revelations 12:12. Mm-hmm. Because he knows that he has but a short time.
Exactly.
Because that short time he used was to prop his people up, and tell them that they're the best of of the best when it's all a lie. He's been lying this whole time.
Right.
All right, but
Yep.
you got it.
100%. This is Isaiah 24:2. It says, "And it shall be as with the people,
Boom.
so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress." Right? And these are people in different classes, so to speak.
Classification.
Right? Classifications. Right? And like we were talking about before the camera cut on, Esau is getting ready. There's not going to be a middle class anymore.
Nope.
Really, the middle class has been destroyed by
the past 10 years.
Yeah, going back decades, they've been strategically chipping away at the middle class.
Yeah, because the middle class had what's that? They had insight in this country. They wanted to continue it, but the 1%, the 1% of this nation, they wanted to dismantle it and rule over it, and that's what they're about to do. They're about to have their day in the sun.
It's gonna be the rich and the poor, man.
Yep.
Like it says in Revelation 13.
Well,
rich and poor. Don't say middle class. I always say that.
Yeah.
Ain't no middle class in that verse.
The rich is the 1%. The 99% that's underneath it, that's the poor. All right? Because all the wealth is going to go towards them, and then they're going to kick you off the boat.
I got a couple of precepts.
You got it.
This is Proverbs 11:4. It says, "Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death."
From death.
Okay? So all the riches in the world, all right, or whatever riches you think you got right here in this life, that's not going to profit you when Yahweh Shem Shah decides to bring this place to an end. The same thing that happened in Egypt, right? Yeah. If you were living in Egypt during that time and you were an Egyptian, right? You the power. They were the most prominent power in the world at that time. We got the Nile River.
Yep.
Right, all this trade, all this goods and services coming out of this, system that we set up, and literally overnight, Yahweh Shem Shah completely destroyed that civilization, and delivered his people.
Yep.
Same thing's getting ready to happen again, man.
I got a precept. It's in Sirach chapter 40 verse 1. It says, unless you're done with that one.
Yeah, you got it.
It says, "Great travail is created for every man, and in heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam from the day that they go out of their mother's womb till the day that they return to the mother of them all." Going into this world is pressing down. All right, this world is in a position to where it's not going to allow you to continue, okay? Because all this hell, that is coming upon the people, all that's from Yahweh Shem Shai because of the transgressions of wickedness.
I'm gonna finish this in Isaiah 24, and then go back. Then I'll go back to Ezekiel 7.
I thought you were done with that.
What, the Isaiah 24?
Yeah.
No, we didn't finish it.
Right,
it's long. It's kind of long.
You got it.
Isaiah 24:2. It says, "And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him." So again, the economic landscape, right? It's getting ready to be destroyed, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be basically a slave at level 0.
Yep.
Except for a few technocratic elite, right, or the other elites of Esau that have made pacts with these other heathen. It's gonna be you can't even say 1%. It's gonna be like 0.00001% of the population.
Yep.
It's gonna be fine. Everybody else is gonna be fucked.
And the have-nots are more than the haves. So if you spring up and you ain't, got your head on a swivel.
What you mean by that?
Like if these people that think that they're gonna rise up out of the ashes like a phoenix,
Oh yeah, because you have people in the crypto space,
yeah,
that think that crypto and blockchain is all going to lead to just a prosperous America, and you know what I mean, and Trump, and they're gonna try to spin it like that. They're gonna try, right? Because people are invested in this shit via the markets.
Yep, and that's where the MOTB is gonna come in.
Boom.
Yep. They're gonna be like, okay, well, now that the American system is crumbled and fell, we got. If you want normalcy again, you gotta take this chip.
Yeah. That's it.
And hey, fuck that shit. The normalcy is gone. Mm-hmm. How Bashim al-Shai has brought everything to heel.
I'm gonna jump back to this Ezekiel 7.
You got it.
Verse 12. It says, "Yes, the time has come, the day is here. Buyers should not rejoice over bargains, nor the sellers grieve over losses, for all of them will fall under my terrible anger. Even if the merchants survive, they will never return to their business." Right? And you could liken that unto the destruction of America.
Yep.
Right? When America is wiped out via the nukes, right? The ICBMs.
It's not going to return.
Ain't no coming back from that. And matter of fact, I got to get it. Let me get that in Revelation 18.
Yeah, Revelation 18.
Just to go with that. This is Revelation chapter 18. And I'm going to read verse 2. It says, "And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird." Right? So this is going into the destruction of America. All right? And basically it only being able to be inhabited by desert birds, desert creatures. All right, this is jumping down to verse 9, 18, Revelation 18 and 9. It says, "And the kings of the earth," who have these other nations, right? China, right? Japan, India, all these other nations that are plugged in
outside of America,
right, to produce, particular products, services to America, they're going to be fucked.
Yep, because they're not going to have anyone that can buy their goods.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, even Jake here in America, their GDP alone is at least $2 trillion. So and they're the main ones that are buying up these Asian products, especially these nigga women buying this weave and shit.
Mm-hmm.
The brother was talking about last night, the altar hair,
mm-hmm.
hair that's been offered up into another guy that these women are sewing into their heads. I know. It sounds
nut shit.
Yeah, it sounds like some nut shit. But
I'm gonna keep going on this.
You got it.
This is Revelation 18 and 9. It says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come." Right? And then in verse, I'm not going to read it all, but in verse 11, and then it goes into, it says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore." And it goes in and lists all those various, goods.
Because nobody wants that shit. All right, America was on that high, lofty seat, and they were a consumer nation. They wanted everything. All right, but after this, nobody wants that. But and then the kingdom of heaven is going to rise up out of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Did you have any articles, precepts you wanted to touch on?
Did.
Let me see. We can finish with this. This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 1 and verse 2. I may read down.
Yeah.
It says, "Woe to the bloody city,"
Yep.
right? Which this applies to Nineveh, but when you spiritually extrapolate, this applies to Babylon the Great.
Yeah.
In America.
Because Babylon the Great has taken upon all the gods and bullshit of the other nations.
Yep, it's taking pieces and plays and
just
from all
just
the
like
other nations.
Just like that Matthew chapter 11 verse 20, going into Nineveh. It likens it unto a golden city. But you got it, Uncle Shah.
It says, Nahum 3:1 says, "Woe to the bloody city! It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not," which is you, Jakes, right? You're the prey. You're the people being downtrodden by a corporate capitalism. All right, being stuck in a damn consumer. All niggas know how to do is consume.
That's it.
And it's destroying your ass. Right? Verse 2, it says, "The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and the prancing of horses and of the jumping chariots." Right? So you like that, cars, planes, different modes of transportation.
Yeah.
Right? The hustle and bustle of the city. It says, verse 3, "The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is the nukes, the missiles."
Yeah.
It says, "And there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses," right? "Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts."
Yeah, because that was America. That was America because America made money off of every aspect of life. Okay, they made money off of whenever you were born. All right, they made money throughout the 20, 30 years that you lived. 30 plus years that you lived. You were paying into their system. All right, and with that, they continued to flourish. All right, and then they made money, especially upon your death. All right, so this world has to go. All right, because this hell, because this isn't living, this is surviving. We're surviving in this hell, bro. All right, but how about Shemiah Shai is going to come and deliver, you so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans of Negro descent out of the hands of Esau, Edom. All right.
So yeah, Akim just prepare yourselves, be circumspect. You know what I mean, and use wisdom. All right, to maneuver through these times, right? And ultimately pray to the Lord for the strength to endure it, because it's gonna be a beautiful thing watching this place go to shit. That's gonna be firing us up with spirit if you're in the right spirit.
If you're in the right spirit,
right? Because when you even read down in that Revelation 18, I'm just gonna get this. Revelation 18 and 20. It says, "Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets," right? Which shows you that the prophets would be here in Babylon the Great, right? If it's saying, "Rejoice over her, apostles and prophets," that means you would have camps.
Yep.
That means you'd have prophets, all here in America, right?
Because,
you bonehead Negroes, man.
Because this is the altar. This is the altar. I'll pull this and can bow out. This is Sirach chapter 37, verse 15. It says, "And above all this, pray to Yahweh Shemiah Shai, that he will direct thy way in truth."
That's it.
All right. So, the water for listening. Hey, with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kakodash.
Double honor to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone that rule well. Shalom and shalom.
Shalom.